Hey everyone, Jeff, Mr. Blue Hands, back again for another show. This one is going to be sort of a repeat, but then again, something new. As you can see here, I've got two Whitman folders of the 50-state commemorative quarter program. They're both full. I've been completing this set for years now. I finally got where I had the last couple of holes filled from some coin roll hunting I did a couple weeks ago. And I have two of them. And I have two grandkids, so they each get one. So you would think as a collector, my job here is done. But circumstances brought me back to this theme because one of my other hobbies is albums and cassettes and music of the 80s. So I do a lot of thrift store shopping. And in one of my searches at a thrift store, I found this. A really nice, not that the Whitmans aren't nice, but a really nice 50-state quarter program folder. And this is more like a binder sort of printing. Got it for $5. I couldn't pass that up. I thought it was a good deal. And you open it up and it's full of these clear pages with a little almost sports card size area for each quarter, for each state, and then each state has the Philadelphia and the Denver slots. But all of them, the entire collection, all the way to 2008's Alaska and Hawaii. So this is the entire thing ready to be loaded. So what's a guy to do? I've already coin roll hunted and filled two books. I didn't have any more quarters to put in this. So what do? Well, you go to the bank and you get another box of quarters and you start going through it. And I did a video earlier about another coin roll hunting search for quarters. And then I sorted them. So I've got a cup here full of 1999 quarters, and then 2000, 2001, all the way through to 2008. So I can search through individual cups of just that year and fill this. So I'll have $5 into the folder and then face value for all the quarters. And I'll have another complete collection. Who knows? Maybe there's another grandchild coming in the near future. If not, this could be mine. Or I could give it to a niece or a nephew or someone else who professes a love for coin hunting and coin collecting in general. So, what I got to do now is start sorting again and fill this up. So that's what this video is going to be. Now, it occurred to me, my earlier video of the quarters, I probably didn't talk much. It was probably just a speed video with music underneath, maybe some facts popping up. That's usually how I rolled. But since I've been getting a little bit more into the video making part of this, where I've been talking and discussing things, I thought I would talk about the quarters and the states as I go along. And I'll probably run out of voice, so I'll probably stop talking at some point and go back with the graphics because it's fun editing graphics and stuff for these videos. Not so much fun sitting here talking to myself in an empty room. So I'll discuss the first year, 1999, and give you some facts on the coins. And then I'm going to shut up and I'll just speed video through the rest of the folder, and we'll see if this one box of quarters that I got from the bank will fill this entire book. I suspect not, especially when you get into the later years of the collection, because at the very start, these were very plentiful. They were struck in millions, almost a billion per quarter. It was a very popular program when it first started. What you got to remember is, in 1998, when the last regular heraldic eagle quarter, Washington quarter, was released, the Washington quarter had been completely unchanged since 1932, except for the 1975-76 bicentennial issue quarters. You'll never find a quarter dated 1975 or 1976. They're all the bicentennial issues. But anyway, when the quarter was introduced in 1932, it had the same exact design that carried through all the way to 1998. So doing math in my head, that's 66 years of being completely unchanged. And the rest of our coinage was pretty much the same thing. When the dime was introduced in 1946, it remained unchanged until now. They've never messed with it. It's always been the same. It's the exact same design, obverse and reverse, front and back, as it was from the first day it was issued. How boring is that? The penny, the obverse, the Lincoln side, has been the same since 1909. So 108 years worth of unchanging coinage there. The reverse was redesigned in 1959. It went from the wheatback cent to the memorial cent. Then the mint got crazy in 2009 and did 4 special commemorative reverses. So people pulled those out of their pocket change because they were special, they were different, they were neat. The nickel, from 1938 all the way through until 2004, 5, and 6, they had those commemorative designs for the Westward Journey series. There was a couple different obverses and 4 different reverses. So from 1938 until 2004, so you're talking 66 years of unchanging nickel design. Americans are really bored with our change. You look through them, same thing over and over and over again. Nothing new, nothing interesting, nothing different. So when the 50-state quarter program was initially announced, and then they started minting these things, people were really gung-ho for this. It was all over the news. It was all over the internet, coin books and magazines and shows on the shopping channels all talked about it. And it was hot. Everybody seemingly collected these things. So the U.S. Mint struck a ton of them. In fact, the first quarter, Delaware right here, they produced 775 million coins. The second one, Pennsylvania, they produced 707 million coins. New Jersey took a hit. It was a little less popular. It only struck 662 million. Why the mintage numbers are so high? One, because it was popular, and the mint anticipated a lot of people will be pulling these quarters out of circulation to save them in books like this. And the U.S. economy needs a certain number of circulating coins to keep the economy going, for people to have pocket change and spend them. And they allow a little bit for loss or damage or what have you, but they allowed a whole lot for people to pull them out of circulation and put them in books. So they struck more and more and more and more and more. So basically, the government was printing free money because they needed a certain amount in circulation, and they felt that a lot of them will be pulled out. New collectors, millions of new people joined the coin collecting hobby during this program because it was so novel. It was so neat to see something different in your pocket every time you got a quarter from a pop machine or broke $1 at the gas station. You might get a new quarter. So lots of people got into coin collecting. Now what happened was the novelty kind of wore off because this program went on for 10 years. It went from 1999 to 2008, and it still continues to this day in different forms. We went through the U.S. territories, and now we're in the America the Beautiful with national parks and historic monuments and things. So this quarter program really is continuing under different names. But the novelty started to wear off toward the end of this quarter run. And it's still wearing off, matter of fact. The quarters were struck, like I said, in the 700 millions at the very start. We get down to the end, the last year, 2008. Let me pull up those mintage numbers for you. And there's quite a difference to the end. Remember, in the very beginning, 1999, we're talking 700 million coins minted. We get to 2008, interest had waned quite a bit. So we're talking 400 million, 500 million quarters. So 200 million less quarters of the 2008 issues exist than the 1999s. 1999s were extremely popular. And you get down to 2008, still quite popular, but not so much. 200 million less of these specimens out there. The really dramatic droppage in mintage occurred after the state quarter program ended and the territories started. Now, 2008, we're talking 400 million quarters, roughly, or 500 million quarters per issue. We get to the 2009 year, and what you also have to remember is in 2009, we had that huge economic downturn. It actually started in 2007, 2008, but by 2009, our economy was pretty well wrecked. People weren't spending money. So the government didn't have to make as many quarters for general circulation because interest had waned in the state program. People weren't pulling a lot of them out of circulation. And then in 2009, the economy downturned, so people weren't spending a whole lot of money, so there wasn't a need for a whole bunch. There wasn't a need for 700 million quarters to be pumped into the U.S. economy. We really couldn't sustain it that way. So by 2009, when the District of Columbia quarter was issued, remember we're talking 700 million at the start of this program. Get to 2009, the District of Columbia, there was only 172 million of those coins minted. When you get to Puerto Rico, 139 million. So it's going down and down and down. And listen to this. By the time the Guam quarter was minted, 87 million. Almost a tenth of what the 1999 issues were. 700 million. By the time we get to the Guam quarter, 87 million. And it got worse. You go to the American Samoa's quarter, 82 million. So we're still going down. U.S. Virgin Islands, the next quarter in the territory series, 82 million. The Northern Mariana Islands, the last quarter introduced for the territories program, 72 million quarters. Only 10% of the 1999 state quarters. 10%. We got down to 72 million coins issued by the end of 2009. So while the state quarter program is plentiful, you'll still see them in circulation all the time. In fact, I pulled hundreds out of circulation just recently for this book. You'll see a heck of a lot less of 2009 quarters. Now, they're not rare when it comes to how rarity is determined in coin collecting, but they're scarce. I'd say they're scarce. If you compare those mintage numbers to the quarter program, the regular heraldic eagle quarter program from 1932 to 1998, 72 million for any issue quarter is pretty low. I could be wrong because I don't have the numbers here for the next series of quarters, the America the Beautiful. I would suspect that those numbers are probably down as well. In fact, let me look it up. I'm going to go find the mintage numbers on America the Beautiful quarters. And I'm sort of right. The numbers are down. 2000. You hear my dog in the background whining. I'm sorry. He hears me talking to myself in this room, and he comes in. He's like, "What's up, Dad?" Buddy, go lay down. You be good. You be good. Go lay down. Go lay down. You have no interest in coins whatsoever. You don't. Well, I know. Go lay down. Back to where I was. 2010, when the America the Beautiful Parks quarters came out, National Park quarters, America the Beautiful, however you want to call it. The total mintages are around 70 million per coin. And that breaks down to 34 million from Denver, 35 million from Philadelphia. Flip-flop those numbers around a little bit. But the total mintage per design, I guess you would say, is about 70 million. So, yeah, the numbers are still going down. I'm looking through a lot of these, and there's the occasional spike, like the Oklahoma quarter from 2011. There was 143 million of those made. But going on down the list, there's only 44 million of the New Mexico quarter, the Chaco Culture National Historical Park, 44 million. 22 million even, dead even from both Philadelphia and Denver. And there's some more spikes here. The Alaska Denali National Park, 302 million. 239 million for Perry's Victory. So mintages are going back up. In fact, whoa, here's 500,000. Mount Rushmore, 500,000 minted for that one. 465 million for Arches National Park. 300 million for the Everglades. Right here, 776 million for the Kisatchie National Forest from Louisiana. 830 million for the Blue Ridge Parkway. I see that one all the time. So the numbers dropped incredibly low for a period, and now they're back up, which is a good indication that our economy is doing a lot better. They're minting more and more of these quarters. But that gives the astute coin collector a narrow window of years to look for quarters that are, comparatively speaking, quite scarce. Again, not rare, but quite scarce. How many times have you seen in circulation, pulled out of your pocket change, Chaco Culture National Historical Park from New Mexico, a 2012 quarter? I don't think I've ever got one of those. Only 44 million were minted. So there definitely are some targets for you to hit if you go out coin roll hunting. I will do a series on that later because I've got this giant cup here full of just the Territory and America the Beautiful quarters. I've got a Territory around here someplace else, but this is just America the Beautiful and the Parks quarters that I pulled out. All pretty much, brilliant uncirculated. There might be hints of wear. There's going to be a lot more circulation, of course, on the 1999 quarters than the newer ones. But generally speaking, I pulled out the ones that have nice, shiny, coppery-looking rims, so I know they haven't been handled a whole lot. And really, this is just for fun. I'm not going for gradable coins, something so pristine you would send off to a grading service and get the MS 65 or 66 grade on them, because those are pretty hard to come by unless you're buying them directly from the mint, or you get original rolls and you never touch them, never open them, and then you send those off to get graded. These are just out of commerce. These are out of circulation. So they're going to have some nicks and scratches on them. I mean, they're not gradable coins. This set, when complete, is not worth a heck of a lot of money. It's basically going to be worth face value for all the quarters and, say, $20 for the folder. So this isn't going to be an investment by any stretch of the imagination. This is for fun. But I want to point out some of the information and the inconsistencies in the mintages for the 99 through 2008 series. So, by the time you get down to 2008, you're probably not going to get a complete folder just out of one single bank box full of quarters. It might take a little work. In fact, those other two folders I showed you at the beginning, those took me several years to complete just because I didn't go to a coin shop or a coin club or the home shopping channels or eBay to find that 1 or 2 or 3 quarters that I was missing. I waited till I found them in pocket change. And when I found them in pocket change, if it looked really nice, I set it aside and shoved it in that book. So my 2 books over there are complete. I'm working on my 3rd, either for myself or for a future grandchild. And that's all today is going to be. I tend to pick one project per weekend and then just knock it out. I might have to do a little bit of work like through the week on a Tuesday or something, go to the bank and get these boxes or rolls of coins, then sort them on a Wednesday or a Thursday or something. And then by the time Saturday or Sunday rolls around, I got some free time, a good couple hour block where nothing else needs to be done around the house. Nothing's on fire or broken, or a couple hours I can just devote to having fun and indulging myself in the hobby that I sit down and tackle one project. And this weekend's project is the state quarter program, sourced entirely from coin roll hunting. So I'm going to shut up now. I might even take a break and go get a cup of coffee because I like coffee. I'm powered by coffee. So I'm going to do that. And when I come back, I'm going to speed roll a video through the entire book and through all these cups of coins that I have. And we'll see how close we get to filling this book. And when I'm done speed hunting and speed filling this book, I'll come back and say a few words on what I'm missing and whatever else I come across. Because when you go through coins, you always come across a few things that are weird that you might want to stop and take a look at and maybe research further. There are error coins in these years. I've got a list just off camera over here of what years and what errors to look for on each particular coin. The extra leaf error on the reverse for the 2004 Wisconsin quarter, right up there. The 1999 Delaware quarter on the reverse, there's just the spitting horse variety, a die crack going from the horse's mouth to the rim. They call that the spitting horse. So as I'm going through all these coins, I've got a sheet over here of error coins to look for, and I've got my trusty magnifying glass right here. So when I get to those years, I will take a closer look to see if I have any errors, because error hunting is a lot of fun. If you haven't done that yet, sure, coin roll hunting, looking for silver coins, weed heads, cents, older nickels, Silver War nickels, very cool. Silver dimes and quarters in circulation, or halves. Halves are really easy to find silver because a lot of people don't check them or don't know that 1965 through 1970 they're 40% silver, so I usually come across quite a bit of those in circulation. And I've talked about coin roll hunting on other videos quite a bit. But I'm going to be going through and I'm going to speed fill these books and check for errors. And if I do find an error, I'll probably stop the speed roll on the video and we'll talk about the error I found. Hopefully I find some errors. So I'm going to be looking for that as well. So right now I'm going to sign off. You're not going to notice anything. I'm just going to hit pause on the camera. I'm going to go get some coffee. I'll be back and we'll speed roll through this collection. Okay, I had to stop the speed round here. I got a Delaware spitting horse error. And there's no way this camera's going to pick it up. And even with my magnifying glass here, you're not going to get it. I'm sorry. But this is the spitting horse error of the Delaware quarter. Found one. How cool is that? As you can see here, I've already got the Philadelphia issue of Delaware, and I've completed Georgia and Connecticut, and I've got one each of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, and all these quarters yet to go through. So I'll be able to get, of course, there's 700 million of these things minted, so of course the first year will come and fall very quickly. But to find an error quarter in there, totally cool. Did not expect to find anything. I've gone through probably a dozen boxes of quarters, and they come in a $500 box. So $500 times 4, 2,000 quarters. I've gone through probably a dozen of them, so you're talking 28,000 quarters I've gone through, and this is the very first Pennsylvania spitting horse quarter I've come across. Very cool. Glad I caught it on video, coin roll hunting. And I'm going to shut up now and put my music back on. Not the music you hear. I listen to real music here in my office, but I'm not going to take the YouTube strikes for copyright. So when I speed this video up, I rip out the songs. Just out of curiosity, if there are any fans out there of this group, I'm listening to Genesis. So, and hey, throw on some Genesis while you watch this fast forward video. But error quarter, very cool. Setting that aside, gonna put it in a 2x2 later, and I'll try to get a really close-up picture of it and post it on this video, maybe right here. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm lazy. So anyway, back to speed hunting for coins. Okay, breaking into my speed video for possibly another spitting horse error. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like maybe it is. It's in the same exact location as the previous one I have, and this one is clearly an error. But that might be an earlier die state. I believe this was caused by either a crack in the die or a gouge in the die, and that created the line coming down from the horse's mouth, creating the nickname the spitting horse. Now, that may, if it was a gouge, it may have started to go away in the later strikings of the coin, which would mean it would get fainter and fainter. And this might be a later die state from that error. It's very faint. I'm going to have to take this in and look at it under a microscope to check it, and then maybe do a split screen comparison with the previous one I found to make sure it's the exact same die that produced them, but maybe an earlier and then a later die state, so this one's weaker. Or, depending on if it was a die crack, this might be the early die state, which means it had just started to form, so it's very light on this coin, and the later die state coin, the crack got bigger, causing the error here. I'm not sure which it is. I'm not an expert. I do research on coins all the time. If you're really interested in your hobby, you never stop learning. You always go back and research more. I'm not an error coin collector. I'm aware of errors. I know how to spot them when I see them. I generally know what causes them, but generally is not enough sometimes. You really need to know the specifics of what you have, because if you don't know the specifics of what you have no idea what it's worth. So more research is needed on this one, so I'm setting that one aside as well. And as you can see, I got the Philadelphia and Denver issues of each quarter in 1999. Now I got to put them in these little cardboard holders. They slide out, as you can see right here. They slide out from these protective sleeves, and you can drop the quarter in and slide them back in. So I want to turn Genesis back on, and you can speed watch me putting them in the holder here. So. Okay, I'm pausing Genesis at this point. As you can see, I got the first year, 1999, inserted into these little cardboard cutout coin holders, which, by the way, was a pain in the ass. I can kind of see why the person who bought these didn't even bother filling the quarters in from his pocket change. These are a nightmare to get into these holes. They're cut just a fraction of a hair too small. And I know why they do that. They do it so the coin is held securely and doesn't, bump around and fall out. But, man, talk about imprecision. I almost had to bend these cards in half. And it's very thin down here. And I'm stressing out about breaking these things, just trying to get the quarter in there. So, yeah, a pain in the ass. That's why this folder is empty. This is going to take me hours to go through all these quarters and put them in their respective holders without ruining them. So, I'm not going to put you through even a speed roll video of watching me struggle with these stupid things, trying to get the whole set completed. So, I'm going to stop my camera right now, turn Genesis up real loud, go get another cup of coffee, because this is going to take a while. And I'll come back after that and show you the results of what I've got. Did I get them all? Like Pokemon, did I get them all? I'm betting not. I'm still betting that the last year, 2008, I will come up with a few missing. Probably the Denver issues. I live in Michigan, so Philadelphia is really close to me. I get tons of Philadelphia pocket change, a lot less of Denver. People watching this on the left coast of the U.S., you probably see a lot more Denver coins in your pocket change than Philadelphia because you're further removed, geographically speaking, from Philadelphia. So you probably see more Denver coins, whereas I see more Philadelphia coins. So I'm betting when I get to the end of this, I'm going to have some Denver holes in the collection, which means I'll have to go coin roll hunting again. Yay! Actually, yay! Gives me another mission to accomplish. So I'm gonna pause this video now, go through, and I'll come back and let you know my results. Okay, guys, I'm back. I've run through the entire amount of quarters I had and got them into the books. And like I was saying earlier, I thought maybe the 2008s, because they were such low mintage, I wouldn't be able to find them all. But look, I have them all. This is the final year, the 2008s of the quarters. Oklahoma through Alaska and Hawaii. I managed to pull them all. So I am pleasantly surprised. But then again, also a little surprised at what else happened. Let's go back to the very start here. Okay, so first state quarter, Delaware, got them on down the line. This is all 99, 2000. Go over 2001. Got them, got them, got them, got them. And then we get to around the middle. Let's see, we're at 2003. Got them all here. Oh, skunked. Missouri got me. The Denver issue of Missouri. Didn't have one. And I go through the rest of the entire album. Got them all. Just kind of scanning real quick to show you. Every single one of them except Missouri from the Denver Mint. Would not have guessed that. I'm also a little bit pleasantly surprised. This book I told you I bought at a thrift store for $5, and I thought it was a good deal. And then I saw this. You can order more copies for $15 and $2 shipping and handling. I won't show the address there. So this would have cost me $17 if I'd bought it through the person who listed their address there. So anyway, there we go. Try to fix that focus a little bit for you. Book done, except that Missouri quarter from the Denver Mint. So now I've got to make a little post-it note, stick it on here saying missing Missouri Denver Mint. Other than that, it's complete. I'll probably just search my pocket change and come up with that 1 quarter later and fill the book. A side project, since I've gone through all these quarters, I pulled out all the ones that have possible errors, and I'm going to do, there we go, I'm going to do a search through these later. In no particular order, they're the Wisconsin, Kansas, Minnesota, Colorado, Wyoming, and Arizona quarters, and some Delaware quarters in there as well. So I consulted my list over here as I was going through them, and all the states that have errors, there you go. I got a notation for obverse and reverse, what to look for. And as I was going through the book here, I'd checked the ones I put in the book. They are not errors. And the rest of the ones from that state I put in a stack up here, and I'm going to go through them later with a magnifying camera that I have to check for the errors. So anyway, that concludes this part of my search and this show. Thanks for watching, everybody. I noticed I've got almost 1,000 subscribers. That's amazing. You guys are blowing my mind. I don't know who's passing around my videos and saying, subscribe to this guy, but awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you have any comments, leave them in the section below. I try to answer people's questions as fast as I can. They come in quite frequently, and I do check them like every day, every other day, and if there's questions I can answer, I jump right on it. If it's just a comment saying, hey, I've got this quarter, okay, awesome, great, awesome you found that. There's also a lot of, I have a 1953 D penny. Cool. Hold on to it. It's neat. So stuff like that I don't usually reply to. But if you have a question, put it in the comments below, and I always answer questions, especially if it's something you're curious about but don't know about, or if you're a new collector. I always try to help you guys out. So do ask questions. I'll answer them, point you towards some information, and maybe some Facebook groups that I'm a member of, so you can just contact me through these Facebook groups. And then the other members of the group, they ask and answer a lot of questions in these groups. I'm always happy to help out there too. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next show.